And I had to tell myself that I was accepting just about anything from anybody. And that was unfair to me. And that's the same thing that I was doing with food. Then I decided I was only going to eat raw produce. This is where my life changed. Hey guys, so I randomly decided that I wanted to do a video about my raw vegan journey and when I did it and what it looked like. So I went raw vegan and I didn't know how long I was going to do it. I just knew that I was tired of having IBS. Ugh, I hate IBS and no one even knows how to explain it. The word syndrome alone and irritable bowel syndrome means that they haven't figured out the root cause of what IBS is. And that's very frustrating because each of us who have IBS have it differently. Maybe we have different symptoms and it happens with different foods. So it's a little hard to categorize, and I totally understand. I understand that it's hard to categorize something. It's okay. The problem is I hated having it, and I didn't like waking up in the morning tired, fatigued, frustrated, grumpy, with abdominal pains. And it even affected my pregnancies to the point where I was having contractions throughout my whole pregnancies. And I hated it. I don't like it. Do not recommend. And then the worst part is they give you this FODMAP or whatever they call it. And it tells you what you can and can't eat. And half the time you can't even eat those things that are on the FODMAP. So it wasn't helpful. And one of the things I noticed with IBS is they told me not to eat raw foods. And I was like, those are some of the most healing foods that you can eat. Why would you say not to eat raw foods? And then I would eat them after I ate something that was on that list. And my stomach would be upset. And I noticed that raw foods did agitate my stomach. So I was like, I don't know. Something's wrong here. Because I used to love eating raw foods, and that's all I really ate when I was maybe around 14, 15. Like, I would go to the kitchen and my parents would buy food and I just didn't want to eat it. I didn't like meat. That started when I was in middle school. I didn't want to eat meat. I didn't like soda. It gave me headaches. I didn't like juice, really. It was too sugary. I didn't like it. I only wanted water, and I wanted things like grapes. I just wanted to eat grapes all day. And if they ever went out to eat, I would always ask for like from a Chinese restaurant, I might ask for mixed vegetables with the brown sauce on it, things like that. That's the type of stuff that I enjoyed eating. Potatoes and green peas, and I loved vegetables. When I was in elementary school, the lunch lady, she would always give me extra vegetables because most of the kids didn't want them and didn't eat them, so she always gave me extra, and I have not forgotten that till this day. That was like back in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. And it meant a lot to me. I've always connected to vegetables. So when I was diagnosed with IBS, I was just like rolling my eyes, like, what even is that? And why am I in so much pain? And you can't find anything. It was very frustrating. So when I realized that I used to love raw foods and why can't I eat them now, I realized that I was probably mixing them incorrectly. So while I was eating these raw foods, I had just maybe an hour or 2 hours ago eaten something that already upset my stomach, and now the raw foods are working to fight that upset, and now I'm feeling the upset, and I feel upset, and I'm putting the blame on the raw foods, but it was really the mixing of the foods. My stomach was already upset. It was already out of balance. So fast forward to now, because that was years ago when I started to put 2 and 2 together. I wanted to start eating things that made me feel good, things that got rid of mucus, because I am a singer as well. I produce music, and I don't like the thought of performing my music and I can hear nastiness. I didn't like it, and I don't like waking up coughing and stuff. I noticed that we associate that with aging, but I've noticed that's happening in younger years now. And people are having that issue 15 years old, 20 years old. And I really think it's because of the mucus in the food, the foods that cause mucus, like dairy, for example. And I've just been over the years collecting all this data with my own personal body, like, okay, I don't like that. I noticed when my son eats dairy, his asthma acts up. And I'm starting to realize all this, and asthma is mostly caused by mucus. So I'm putting 2 and 2 together. I'm like, okay. So I decided back in March I was going to try out more raw foods. So I started introducing more raw foods to my diet, like random things like dragon fruit, something I never had. Star fruit that I had years ago, but I didn't really eat all of it and I wasn't really feeling it. And it upset my stomach because I was eating junk. And then I was like, okay, I feel lighter. Then I decided I was only going to eat raw produce. This is where my life changed. I'm going to tell you some of the cons. I'm going to start with the cons. The cons were I didn't feel very social when it came to food. If people were going out to eat to celebrate something, number one, I didn't want to go because of how expensive it is. And number two, I was like, what the heck am I going to eat? I can't just ask for a salad. They put eggs in it. A lot of the ranch has eggs as well, or milk or yogurt. I wasn't eating any of that. And I realized that I have to be very intentional when I eat raw foods. So that was a lot of pressure. It took a lot of discipline. But these same cons were the things that built me as a person and became pros. Another con that I noticed was I did get dizzy. But then I noticed that was because I wasn't meeting my calorie goals. I needed to be eating at least 2,200 calories a day. Even if I wanted to lose weight, it didn't matter because this food was burning quickly like this. So any day that I was eating enough for my calories, I didn't have that issue of dizziness. And that was the only symptom that I got concerned about. But I realized it was because I wasn't reaching my calories. And I totally understand that. Once again, that brings me back to discipline. These are some of the pros. I realized that raw vegan has taught me how to love myself better, how to be more intentional, and how to cleanse myself, not as a diet, but as a lifestyle. And after the 3 weeks of being raw vegan, might I add, I think I lost a pound a day. I think it was a pound a day. And I started the year off as 197. I am currently 150. Okay, and I only did it for 3 weeks. And then I also did anywhere between 2,000 to 10,000 steps a day. And this was not something that I made sure I did every day. It was just a goal that I wanted to reach. I did notice that when I stopped doing raw vegan and I went back to eating vegetarian foods, that my stomach was starting to hurt again. My headaches were coming back. One of the first reasons that I decided to do raw vegan was insomnia, and that came back as well. While I was vegetarian, I did feel better than when I was eating meat, but I had already been doing vegetarian for a while. And I still wasn't reaching that optimal health that I desired for myself. I was still having minimal breakouts. I mean, you can kind of see some of my skin complexion here where it's not leveled, it's not balanced. And I didn't want that anymore. And I felt like I was falling into a trap of not taking care of myself. I felt like I was out of shape. I was aware that I had habits and food addictions that I didn't want to have anymore. And what I mean by food addictions is those cravings literally controlled me. If I craved something, I would go get it. Even if it was like 10 p.m., I need this. I would go to the gas station and go get me some oatmeal cream pies. And it was controlling me. And that's what I mean by addictions. Like, it would take me out of who I wanted to be and the person that I wanted to be. And I didn't want that anymore. And raw vegan really taught me that discipline, how to listen to a craving and say, I don't want that for myself. And this rolls over into other routines into my life. I started to notice that I was in rooms that I didn't want to be in as well. I don't want to be in this room. I don't like these people. And as a spiritual person, that's okay. And I had to tell myself that I was accepting just about anything from anybody. And that was unfair to me. And that's the same thing that I was doing with food. So raw vegan lifestyle taught me discipline. I'm not saying that everybody should do this. I'm not saying that everybody can. This is not something that everybody can do. People's genetic makeup may tell them differently. That's okay. But for me, I know that I feel my best when I am eating raw living foods. Now, some of the things that I eat that are not raw is maybe some plantain chips, but I try to make sure they're only seasoned with salt. So I'm more of a high raw, but I will say I eat about 98% raw living foods. And anything outside of that is still going to be fruits and vegetables, if you get what I'm saying. Nuts and seeds, stuff like that. I may have roasted sunflower seeds. Okay, big deal. And I will tell you, the raw fruitarian, raw vegan industry does not play. They're like, oh, that salad dressing is not raw. And they will shame me for it. I don't care. I really don't care. This is about my body and what makes my body feel better. And I am on my journey to loving myself the most that I can. And I feel like my body is a temple when I eat raw vegan. So I'm excited to share that with you all. If you all resonate with this video and you're thinking about doing raw vegan, let me know how it's going for you, or if you need assistance in planning. I tell you, I'll probably ask you for some advice as well, because this is a learning journey and I'm learning how to love myself more. I'm learning how to give myself more and earn what I want to feel. If you get what I'm saying, I want to earn what I want to feel, and I know that's going to come through discipline, consistency, and self-love. Thank you so much for watching this video. I will do more videos like this if you guys want to see more videos like this. So give me a thumbs up if you really enjoyed this video, and then give me some comments, feedback, whatever. I don't really care. I'm cool. I'm vibing. I love you guys so much, and I hope to keep updating you on my raw vegan journey. Dear healer, everyone's journey to their best selves looks different. May you find what fits you on this journey, and may you never be pressured to be someone that you are not, and vibrate at your truest, most highest frequency.